Hi, I'm Chuck Moronic, and I'm sort of just fooling around right now with sound, and I'm playing around with some new ideas about how to see sound. This is a real interesting idea because it's a way of grafting the senses, where grafting where you take one thing and you merge it with something else and create a whole new experience. Cocktail tree, for example, where you take a lemon tree and graft it with an orange tree and put them together, and the new tree produces both fruits. In grafting sound, we find actually there's a way of not just hearing sound, but seeing it, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you. If I play that's here. It's right here in front of me. It's not just loud. In musical terms, that would be loud or forte, and this would be pianissimo or very, very soft. However, in terms of a visual perspective, that is here right in front of me, and that is far away. So that's an interesting concept. I remember years ago I was at the Art Institute of Chicago, and I went into this little sculpture gallery, and they had this thing, and it was just kind of like a blob sitting there and with lights on it, and I didn't get it. But I was attracted to it, and I just kept looking at it and ended up spending about 20-25 minutes just staring at this thing, and it finally hit me what it was. It was all about seeing the space around and in and around the object and not the object itself. And when I saw that, I immediately started thinking in terms of music. How can I start to apply something like that in music? That was a grafting experience. Something that happened visually, I immediately want to transfer that information into auditory stuff, into music. So I started being more concerned about writing music and playing music that had to do more with space rather than notes. And that was a really cool way to think. It still is. So continuing on with this idea of seeing sound, we have other ways that we can visualize sound. For example, that's thick, that's thin. The thinness, you can actually see the transparency between those notes. There's air between it, space between it. Thick, thin. There's also the concept of space. Space, if I go, yes, that's low and high, but it's also, there's a distance between those. There's an actual physical distance between those sounds. There's also, in terms of something like this, those notes there's another physical distance between all those notes, but it's much more squeezed together. It's very, very small. So the concept of space is very interesting. So just playing from the perspective of space, I'm just messing around a little bit here. So I'm not even trying to think about notes or chords or any of those things. I'm just interested in seeing how imaginative I can be with space. How can I see these things? Color is also interesting. Elvin Jones, the great drummer Elvin Jones, put out a DVD, or not, it wasn't a DVD, it was a videotape, and it was all about color. And I can remember watching him, and he was playing a simile. He said, this is orange, or this is yellow, or green, or whatever. And when I first saw it, I think, wow, that's really strange, you know. But it's not strange. And I came to realize that that's not blue or green, because those are earth colors that we actually encounter and see. But actually, maybe this is a color that we haven't actually seen yet. And I remember reading something one time of somebody that had one of those near-death experiences, and they talked about going to the other side, actually going to heaven. And they saw colors that they had never seen on the earth before. And that, I think, is one of the gifts of music, is that we can explore auditory color, you know, and maybe not even have a name for it. This has its own dark, murky kind of thing to it, whereas something like this is clean, you know, and more, or maybe this that has a beautiful, beautiful luster to it, almost like a bright, bright yellow maybe, or something like that. Anyway, I think these are all worth examining, you know, and this is a wonderful time for you to sit at home and you're practicing or whatever, just kind of get creative, get into the right brain stuff, and have some fun.